TNCRadio.live, your commercial driver navigation station.
Good afternoon. This is TNCRadio.live, and this is the Truckers Network Radio Show with your host, Shelley Johnson.
Thank you, Tom. This is the Truckers Network Radio Show where we offer news, information, traffic, weather, and entertainment that commercial drivers need and want. Many of our drivers are veterans, so we like to feature programs about what different organizations are doing to help veterans. One in particular caught my attention because it was started by two veterans to bring awareness and prevent veteran suicide. Today we have Matt Gillespie and Richard Chelson of Operation Tears of the 22 with us. Welcome, Matt and Richard. It's wonderful what you're doing. I understand you create a support network for veterans and events where they can connect with other fellow veterans. I understand you've had a lot of different people from all over the United States reaching out to you.
Yeah, Oklahoma, Idaho, Michigan, Chicago, Arizona. I'm pretty much, all across from, coast to coast, we've had people contacting us. We've got a big event going on this summer that is pretty much just right around the corner, and we've got people coming in, veterans coming in from all across the country to reconnect and rekindle that camaraderie, and brotherhood that we all so miss.
Mm-hmm. Well, you really are. When you're in country, you are a family, essentially. I mean, you really are, and you depend on each other.
Oh yeah, yes. yeah. We are definitely one big family, and we don't. Oh, I don't know how to put it. It's really hard to explain, but there's no race, creed, or color in the military. It's all green,
right?
And we're all brothers and sisters, and that continues out through even after we leave the military. That family never disappears.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think some of it is the loss of support? All of a sudden, you're back in the United States and you don't have that camaraderie, and you're trying to reacclimate in society. And obviously there are people who do not understand what you've been through.
Yeah. There's a lot of it is we just don't feel like we fit in the civilian world. We don't know what to do out here. And like I said, a lot of times when we're gone, we don't realize that the world still moves on without us. It doesn't stop because we were gone. We don't come back the same, and we don't come back to the same world that we left.
Right.
And that really gets, that really digs at a lot of people. But there's also those, what we see, what we do during our deployments, that we don't want to do them, but we do it because it's what we have to do.
Right.
And that stays with you.
Sure does. Yeah.
And plus in the military, life in the military is so much different than the outside world.
It's very structured, as far as
it's structured. I mean, we have our own sense of humor, which when you come back doesn't correspond well with the outside world a lot of times. Right. And it makes veterans, I know it's me because I'm not normal, I'm different, but I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm gonna tell you, but it takes like someone like Matt, who's a veteran, and other veterans that I know to understand me.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's just not just to understand, what we've done, but even the way we talk, what we talk about, our, like Richard said, our sense of humor, everything. A lot of civilians will look at us like we've gone off our rocker, but veterans, a lot of times you'll see veterans just rolling, laughing at what we're joking about. Totally different sense of humor, totally, almost a 180 from what I want to say normal people would laugh about.
Well, you've lost your peers when you come back. And I would think
Exactly.
that's a huge sense of loss, coupled with all of the other issues that you're dealing with after coming stateside, and you would not feel like you had a support system. And we all have to have somebody who understands us.
Exactly. And after we got Tears of 22 started, I was actually able to reconnect with a guy that I spent a lot of time with in Germany almost 26 years ago. Now, I haven't seen this guy in 26 years, but he's going to be here in a couple weeks at our event. And that gives you an idea of, of the sense of family that never quits.
Exactly.
Because we picked up right like it was yesterday when he went to his deployment and, or his next duty station, and I went on to another. And we just lost contact, but through Operation Tears of 22, we've been able to reconnect. And, it warms the cockles of my heart, to know that that Tears of 22 has helped me. And I hope I can help other veterans and other brothers and sisters in that same way.
Reestablishing bonds. What a wonderful thing to do. And it's got to be a huge help. We definitely want to learn more about what your organization's doing. We have to go to break here. We're talking to Matt Gillespie and Richard Shelson of Operation Tears of the 22. This is the Truckers Network radio show on tncradio.live. Stay tuned for more coming up.
This blog on tncradio.live is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. 4 things to consider before becoming a hazmat tanker driver. The demand for truck drivers is higher than ever. There are many different types of truck driving jobs. Whether you're a new driver or if you already have a couple of years' experience, it's never a bad idea to get new skills and endorsements. Hazmat tanker jobs are one of the many truck driving jobs. If you're considering becoming a hazmat tanker truck driver, here's some things you should know. What is a hazmat tanker? Hazmat truck drivers haul, deliver, and dispose of hazardous materials. Hazardous material can include things like gases, explosives, corrosive chemicals, poisons, and radioactive materials. Hazmat tanker drivers are not limited to hauling only hazardous material. They can also drive a non-hazardous tanker. Have the right requirements. Becoming a certified hazmat tanker driver will require you to add specific endorsements to your already existing CDL. You'll have to undergo training that is specifically designed for transporting and handling hazardous materials. After obtaining your CDL, you'll have to go through a background check and complete the application requirements. The application requires ID proof of being at least 21 years old, proof of citizenship or legal residence, a medical exam and eye exam. You must pass the hazmat knowledge test too. It's more stressful. Regardless of what you're hauling, being a truck driver is a stressful job. Safety is a top priority for truck drivers, especially for hazmat tanker drivers. Hauling hazardous material means that accidents or spills are much more severe. Hazmat tanker drivers are under much more stress and caution than drivers that haul non-hazardous material. Drivers need to be extra careful and need to plan their routes before driving. It requires a lot of skill. Truck driving is a difficult career and it's not for everyone. Being a truck driver already requires a lot of skill. For hazmat tanker drivers, there are specific skills that you'll need in order to be successful. Aside from the technical skills, hazmat tankers should also have personal skills. Some personal skills include being punctual, detail-oriented, and patient. These skills will make you a better driver in the long run. You make more money. Hazmat tanker drivers make more money on average. This is because more experience and skills required to haul hazardous loads. According to Salary.com, the average salary for a hazmat tanker driver in the United States is just over $63,000 a year, but the average salary range falls between $55,000 and $72,000 a year. Salary varies from education, certification, experiences, and additional skills. This info blog was brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
Enjoy the best in trucker-style music and comedy weeknights, starting at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on TNCradio.live.
This is the Truckers Network radio show on tncradio.live. I'm Shelley Johnson here with Tom Kelly. And today we have Matt Gillespie and Richard Shelson of Operation Tears of the 22. It's a nonprofit that works to prevent suicide among veterans. What a wonderful godsend this organization is that you formed just in January. How about you describe a little bit about the types of activities you folks have and how this all works?
Well, this event we have an event coming up in August, and it's our first ever trying to do something like this, but it's I guess you'd call it a retreat that we're basically spending 3 days camping. We have a bunch of local off-road groups that are going to come down, and we're going to do some trail rides. And we've got live music coming down for all 3 nights that we're going to be there. But it's mainly just about the veterans being able to get away, shut the cell phones off, disconnect from the outside world, and just hang out with each other and reset, relax, and just get a little bit of that stress out that we all have. But it gives us all a chance to get to know more veterans that we don't know each other, but it's all about veterans helping veterans. Veterans get together and they're able to talk. They're able to get out some of the stress that is eating at them from the inside.
Hey, Bubba, don't forget we're feeding everybody once a day down there. Also.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
That is so backed by another veteran.
Right. We've had so many people all of our musicians have volunteered to come down and share their time and talent.
Awesome.
We've got one band that's going to do our event every year we have this, and one of them happens to be a veteran.
That's excellent.
We've got a veteran that has stepped up and is going to come and cook lunch for everybody down there every day. It's just, like I said, it's all about veterans stepping up and standing beside their brothers and sisters to help them fight their demons. Yeah. And like I said before, we're not professionals. We can point you to professionals, but with us, it's more about reconnecting and being able to look another veteran in the eye that knows where you've been, knows what you're doing, knows what demons you're fighting, and is able to help you talk those out.
Right. Somebody who doesn't ask stupid questions either. I mean, it's something that questions don't have to be asked.
Right.
You just understand, and that's huge.
Yep.
To have
it
that.
Is.
Richard and I have went on when we did our Jeep trips. I mean, we went hours and never said a word to each other. Even though we were riding in the same Jeep, never said a word to each other. But there was almost a silent conversation there that didn't need to be vocalized.
Right. And you're reestablishing belonging.
Right.
For people who feel isolated and, like you said, they don't feel like they belong.
Right. And you got, and to your guys' forte, your truckers that are out there that are spending, like you said, those long nights and long day, long weeks and months out there, alone by themselves, and they got nobody to talk to but themselves, and we put it out on our YouTube and everything like that, my phone number is on the Facebook. If somebody wants to talk, call me. I'll talk to them. I don't care what time of day it is. If you're a brother or sister that needs an ear to talk into, call me. So
that's wonderful. Yeah. I think the percentage, Tom, is it 30%?
A little over 30%. Yeah. A little over 30%.
Veterans.
Yeah.
Yes. And
wow,
they're very active supporters of the military, certainly. And yes, not feeling like you belong and having issues and not having someone who can truly understand you, that has got to be just beyond frustrating. And
it
what
is.
you're doing is creating a place for people to go. This is really awesome.
Well, we try. I mean, we really try to get out there to. I mean, I know several veterans that are truck drivers that I know personally, but even the ones that we don't know, if they're listening to this and the next time they pull over, find us on Facebook, find my phone number, call me. I'll be glad to stand around and talk to you. I don't care what's going on. And that is what Richard and I try to do. Is we try try to get that reconnection, that non-professional help, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, that many times is even more important because you've lost an extended family, you have no support system, and that is what gets people through.
Right.
You can't do it on your own, and you need to have somebody who understands you, who doesn't look at you like you've got three eyes or something,
Right.
Bubba does that to me all the time. I mean, it's
So how are you getting the? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
I was wondering, how are you getting the word out to everyone? Because it sounds like you really are doing a good job since you just started this in January of this year. That's tremendous.
Really, it's mostly been Facebook and YouTube, and then a whole lot of word of mouth. Veterans telling veterans, and friends and family telling other veterans or telling other friends and family, and it's running like a wild brush fire. So
obviously there's a huge need. Is there any other organization out there doing this? I mean, I had not heard of it.
Honestly, yeah, there is. There's
okay.
I mean, not necessarily the way we're doing this, but as far as bringing awareness and prevention of veteran suicide, I mean, there's quite a few. There's Mission 22. There's 22 Until None. There's several groups out there doing it, and they're doing great things. But they can only do so much too.
Sure.
And it takes us all to stand up together to be able to fight this. Because. I mean, 22 veterans a day, that's over 8,000 veterans a year that take their own lives. And that just, wow. I mean, it turns my stomach every time I say it, but.
Mm-hmm. And, I don't think the average person knows that unless they encounter it. If it's someone they know, people don't think about it. That's the problem. I think Americans especially tend to, out of sight, out of mind.
Right. And yeah. we've ran into that a lot where, the supporters and stuff that we've gotten, they're like, I didn't realize that many, that number was that high. And they're floored when I tell them, and I mean, that's actually an old study. It could be higher. It could be a little lower, but it's on, that's on an average. So
it's one is too many.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Yes, it is. One is way too many.
And I think that what your organization is doing, offering a brotherhood and a sisterhood, is super important. People just, maybe if they're able to reset, it can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, and it does. I mean, I know it did for me, and I'm sure it did for Richard.
Oh, yes.
And so if it helps me that way, then I'm sure, we can help other veterans in the same way.
And that's one of the things that they should take into account too, those who are listening, is that sometimes the best way to help yourself is to help others. Just as you guys have found that it's helped center you some. Maybe you're working through some demons. You can't figure out how to get rid of them, but when you start partnering up with others and iron sharpens iron, and you get a couple of guys together, and there's people out there who they want to hear your story, they need to tell their story, and spending time together can often be well worth your time. And it can be done face to face. It can be done over the phone while you're driving. It can be done a lot of different ways. But the point is to, take advantage of those opportunities to work with each other.
And this whole thing that we started since January, and like I said, in the last part of January, this was just absolutely an idea. When I called Richard and said, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's try something." And next thing you know, but this has not only brought a real joy to me, but it's brought back my, I guess you could say my faith some. Because we've been through some trials and tribulations, getting everything together and going, and it all seemed to work out for the better, and it has really brought back my belief in humanity. Not just in our brothers and sisters, because a lot of civilians, that have had members of their families that are military or are big supporters of the military, but a lot of them have stepped up to help us too, and it has really brought back my faith, and that makes me, that puts such a joy in my heart that this is really helping me get through a lot of things too.
What you're doing is absolutely awesome. I definitely want to get some more details on what your organization's doing and information on how people can reach out and help. We've got to go to a break here. We're talking with Matt Gillespie and Richard Chelson of Operation Tears of the 22 here on the Truckers Network radio show on tncradio.live. I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kelly. Stay tuned for more coming up. Driving 11 hours a day, 7 days a week can be emotionally and physically exhausting. Sleep is a very important part of a long-haul truck driver's life. Being well-rested and alert makes driving a lot safer for both the trucker and other drivers on the road. Getting enough sleep may sound easier than it seems. Living on the road makes it difficult to get the recommended 8 hours of sleep. In fact, it's common for truckers to not get 8 hours of sleep due to the 11-hour work shift. To help, we've put together 5 tips to help truckers stay awake while driving. Take vitamins. One way truckers can stay awake while driving is by taking vitamins. Not only are vitamins good energy boosters, they have tons of other health benefits too. Vitamin B helps with fatigue, depression, mood boosting, and muscle weakness. Consider adding vitamins to your morning routine. Eat healthy. An unhealthy diet has a huge impact on one's overall health. Dr. Jennifer Sachek says, our bodies rely on the energy and nutrients we get from food. So what you eat and how and when you eat it can either drain you or sustain you. It might be more convenient to stop at a fast food restaurant or truck stop, but constantly eating junk food drains your energy. Take a nap. Before you hit the road, consider taking a short 20-minute nap. Several studies have shown that a quick nap immediately increases alertness and gives a boost in cognitive performance. Stay hydrated. Water has many health benefits. One benefit is reducing the chance of being fatigued. Drinking a pint of cold water is a great way to refresh yourself and stay more alert. Listen to upbeat music. Listening to upbeat music will have you tapping your foot, singing along, and staying alert in no time. Avoid listening to relaxing music or audiobooks. Those tend to make drivers more relaxed and sleepy. Truckers have a very demanding job. In order to deal with the stress and demands, it's very important to get the right amount of sleep. Hopefully these 5 tips will help you stay awake while driving.
Want to advertise on tncradio.live? Take advantage of great discounts for 2021. Check out the sponsors page at tncradio.live or send email to info@tncradio.live.
This is the Truckers Network radio show on tncradio.live. I'm Shelley Johnson here with Tom Kelly. Today, we're talking with Matt Gillespie and Richard Chelson of Operation Tears of the 22. They formed a nonprofit that works to prevent suicide among veterans. It's a great organization, and what they're doing is just phenomenal. You were saying your first retreat is in August. When in August, and what are the activities again? Do you have kind of a lineup to entice people to come and say, hey, I want to be a part of this?
Okay, yeah, it's August 5th through the 8th at Bird's Adventure Center in Ozark, Arkansas. Now, Bird's Adventure Center is an 800-acre off-road park, based right on the Mulberry River, down in the Ozark Mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous down there. I mean, it's there's no cell phone service, nothing like that. It's just out there. Wonderful place to be, but we have several off-road clubs from Northwest Arkansas that are coming down to do trail rides. They're going to give these veterans a chance to do some off-roading. We're providing lunch for everybody down there. And then we've got live music every night from like 6 to 10, I think, something like
7 to 10, Bubba.
7 to 10.
Okay.
And I mean, and it's a good place to hang out and just relax and enjoy. It's going to be a lot of fun down there. We've got a lot of veterans coming already, so we're expecting a pretty good group of people down there.
So they can camp, just pitch a tent, or okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They
bring your RV. And
they have electric and campsites for RVs, stuff like that. They have primitive camping. I mean, if you want to, they have 2 airstrips you could even fly in. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-day event. Do they have to make reservations? How does this work? Do they reach out to you, or
they can reach out to us? We're asking donations for the as we call them, non-military personnel, of $20 a head. Now, if veterans are free, we've got T-shirts that we've done for the veterans, and kids under 15 are free. If they want to bring an RV, something like that, then I would suggest they call Birds and get a reservation, because I'm not sure exactly how many sites, like that Birds has. I know they got a lot, but I'm not sure how many. But for the most part, just show up and you're welcome.
What a wonderful retreat, especially after 2020. Everybody needs to get out and unplug. And
right.
Certainly,
yes. And down there we can. We joke about it because there is no cell phone service at the campground. You've got to drive at least 2.5 miles to get a little bit of service.
Excellent.
And then another couple miles to get decent service.
So people actually have to talk to each other.
Exactly. You have to talk to each other.
Do it the old-fashioned way. Not
you
with
have
your
to talk to each other face to face.
Yes, exactly. That's also, when you think about it, social media is really, really effective, but it can be so impersonal. And what you're seeing online is all these pretty pictures, like this person has such a perfect life. What the heck's wrong with me? That doesn't help either. That way, when you're reconnecting with somebody, you can say, hey, yeah, I get you, buddy. This is true. Life isn't always a bowl of cherries, right?
Right.
That's right.
And down there at Birds, I mean, it's right on the Mulberry River. So, you go out, you float the river. Richard, it's what, 5-6 miles off the Pig Trail?
Yes.
Something like that. With the Pig Trail highway is Highway 23 here in Arkansas, which a lot of motorcycles ride this Pig Trail is what they call it.
Why do they call it that?
Well, Arkansas is known for the Razorbacks, and
okay.
And it's, I don't know.
Back in the day, that was the short, because the Arkansas Razorbacks are out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. That's where the University of Arkansas is, the home of the Razorbacks.
Okay.
And on home games, back before all the fancy roads we have now, people from out of town, like Little Rock and other towns like that, they would come up through Arkansas Highway 23, which is called the Pig Trail. And that was the shortest route to the stadium so they could go to the games, to the home games.
Makes sense.
And it's windy, curvy.
Yeah,
It's
very
gorgeous.
windy, curvy, but it's all up through the up across Mulberry Mountain and all the way up through the Ozark National Forest. I mean, it's a beautiful ride, whether you're on a bike, in a Jeep, whatever. It's just a beautiful ride, but a lot of bikers ride through there. So,
sure, that'd be a great great place to take a bike. No doubt about that.
Oh yeah, so if you got bikers out there that are listening, if they're swinging by, just swing in and say hi, so.
How you doing? How's your mama now?
Hey, the canoeing right there. I've actually canoed out of Birds before, and the canoeing down the Mulberry. Depending on the time of year and rainfall and all that kind of stuff, it can be a really exciting, almost whitewater rafting type canoeing through there. But it's a beautiful, beautiful way to get, because you got the hills around you and everything. Sometimes on some rivers there, if you go too far north in Missouri or so forth, it gets a little boring. But not the Mulberry. You won't be bored. No. Yeah, you can do 12 miles in a few hours, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. It definitely like I said, depending on rainfall and stuff like that. I've seen it get rolling pretty good through there sometimes.
So if veterans bring their families, are there activities for the families so that they can still have some time to reconnect with other veterans and that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, and everything down there. I mean, there's really no set activities, but there's like I said, there's a river there. There's what do they call it? The bottoms right there. It's like a miniature off-road park close to the campgrounds. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be several veterans down there that I know of, that are going to have kids down there. So there's horseshoes. There's going to be what do they call it? Cornhole. There's
that's popular right now.
It is very popular. So I mean, there's going to be all kinds of kids down there for of different ages for them just to do like we did when we were younger and just play in the dirt. So
yeah,
absolutely. And see, on the trail rides and Jeep rides and stuff like that, that's for everybody. It's not just for veterans.
Oh yeah, everybody. I mean, we take kids on there. We take kids on the easier trails. It's a very, it's very family friendly. But at the same hand, if a couple veterans want to go off and ride by themselves for a while, that's we encourage that too. So.
Sure.
And it did. I'm sorry. I was going to say, and it doesn't matter if anybody has a handicap, because if they want to go for a ride or do whatever, we will make sure that they get to do that.
Oh yeah, there's no such thing as a handicap down there to us.
No, there isn't.
Excellent. I think this whole retreat is going to really, really, really help reestablish a lot of connections for a lot of people. I can see this your organization really growing with this whole activity, and I bet people are going to see people they haven't seen in years, which is super important too.
Oh yeah. Like, well, I don't remember when the last time that Rich or I either one saw Mike that we know. It's probably been 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah, probably closer to 20, I think.
Right. And I've got, an old Army buddy of mine that I haven't seen in 27 years that's going to be there. And just that whole reconnecting and even, meeting new veterans that we didn't know were a part of our family is going to be absolutely wonderful. Just to be able to meet new people and welcome them into our Tears family.
And they have lifelong friends and family that they can depend on. That's so huge, especially if they're going through a crisis. I'm sure there'll be phone numbers exchanged, and this can avert problems and tragedies like suicide. I mean, it's just so needed. I love what you guys are doing.
And so, I mean, like I said, sometimes it's just a matter of somebody needing to talk to somebody that will listen and knows what they're doing to help keep them alive.
Yeah. Somebody who cares.
Right.
That's
Right.
huge. That's huge. When somebody's isolated.
That's what Bubba and I did 3 years ago, and look at what we're doing now. I mean, we're still floored over it.
Well, what you're doing is really, really needed. And obviously, that's why it's taking off. I mean, it's just phenomenal what you're doing. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.live. We're talking with Matt Gillespie and Richard Chelson of Operation Tears of the 22. We'll be back with more information on their organization coming up. Mental health is a topic that isn't addressed enough in the trucking industry. There are many articles, websites, and businesses that can help truck drivers live a healthy lifestyle. But what about mental health? Mental health issues are not uncommon in truck drivers. In fact, trucking poses several risk factors when it comes to mental health issues. Lack of sleep, loneliness, stressful work environment, lack of physical activity. Truck driving can be rewarding, but health issues such as sleep apnea, obesity, diabetes, and depression can result from the strains of the job. So how do drivers prevent these health issues? Stress is an unavoidable part of trucking. Trucking allows you to see beautiful parts of the country, but it also puts you in many stressful situations. Driving in traffic in unfamiliar cities creates stress on a driver. There's stress when you're not sure if you're going to be able to deliver your load on time. You also can become stressed when you're away from home for so long. As you can tell, there are plenty of stress triggers when you drive professionally for a living. One of the best ways to reduce stress is by learning how to handle it. I realize it's easier said than done. It takes time and self-discipline. Here are some examples of ways you can reduce stress as a truck driver. Listen to music or a podcast. Start eating healthy. Exercise or stretch. Talk with family and friends. Get good sleep. Plan your trip out. In addition to managing stress, there are other ways you can keep good mental health while on the road. Drivers often portray the image of being tough. Mental health is not a discussion that many truckers are going to have. Communicating your mental health struggles with friends and family, therapists, or other drivers is a good way to work through your mental health struggles. Here's some more ways you can stay mentally healthy when you're on the road. Stay in touch with loved ones. Establish a morning and night routine. Bring a pet on the road. Travel with your spouse. Consider team driving. Bring things on the road to keep you entertained, like a laptop, video games, or TV. Occasionally book a hotel room. It's nice to get out of your truck every once in a while. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Drivers need to prioritize their mental health and take the necessary steps needed to be mentally healthy. It all starts with communicating with someone you trust, managing stress, and taking time out of the day to do something nice for yourself. For more information on mental health in truck drivers, check out Common Mental Health Issues Truck Drivers Face on the truckersnetwork.net. Thanks for listening.
For the latest in Houston traffic, weather, news, and information, don't miss the Evening Surge weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. on TNCRadio.live.
This is the Truckers Network radio show on TNCRadio.live. I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kelly. We're talking with Matt Gillespie and Richard Chelson of Operation Tears of the 22. They formed a nonprofit that works to prevent suicide among veterans and basically provide an extended family for them, which is so, so important. I was wondering if you could maybe talk a little bit about why it's so important for veterans to connect with other veterans to avert a crisis that they don't expect, and how you folks can actually provide this for them.
Wow. Why is so important? I mean, their family, and every one of them is important to us. They are important to somebody somewhere. And it's important for them to reach out, even if they think they might be having issues or they might have a demon that they need to talk about. Get it out now before that demon eats at you and leads you to that suicide. And it's very important for them to reach out, if not to us, to another family member, or another organization. Reach out to somebody,
right?
Because how can you really can't put on? I mean, it's a human life. It's my brother's life, it's my sister's life, and that's family. And to me, that's more important than just about anything in the world.
And it's
all about family.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, and you are an extended family, and certainly when you were in the field, in country, doing what you were doing, you depended on each other probably more than most families depend on each other.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It was always the guy next to you. People laugh and say, and a lot of people that don't really know that, they say, oh, you did it for your country, you did it for the pay, stuff like. No, we did stuff like that for the guy standing next to us, and it's as simple as that. And that guy standing next to us is always going to be there.
Right. You always had somebody who would watch your six, right?
Right. Oh yeah, we take I got your six very seriously.
Mm-hmm. And that's got to be a shock. And that's got to be a shock when people are transitioning, because they don't feel like they have that anymore. And you're providing that again. It's something that can carry them through an adjustment period and still have a place to go when life frustrates them. I mean, everybody gets frustrated with life, no matter what.
Yeah, and it can be the littlest things from, I have issues with fireworks. I don't like fireworks. Mm-hmm. And after I got out of the military, I didn't have too many issues until my son joined the military, and my son is currently on his 4th deployment in Iraq, and so that brings up a lot of my old memories of where, and I worry about him, and of course, he's dad. I got it, but I'm a dad, so.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, they're always your kid, no matter what age they are, and you're going to worry.
Right. And when he calls me sometimes and I can hear, gunfire in the background, it could be something, just a small trigger like that really puts me into a crisis mode. And, a lot of times I'll get on the phone and I'll call Richard, and we'll be on the phone for 2 or 3 hours, just talking about this, that, and the other.
Yeah. And one thing we're doing with our organization, and I'm not knocking any organizations at all, is me and Bubba, we want to meet every veteran that wants to come to our events, wants to call us. We want to get to know them personally.
Right. I don't want to put it into that, I guess you say, that corporate world. I want to keep it personal, and I want to be able to look that person in the eye, shake their hand, and let them know they got a support system.
No structure, no expectations.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Just reconnecting, and it doesn't matter what branch of the military they're in, correct?
No, it doesn't matter at all.
We may razz them, but
right. I was going to say there's probably still going to be some jokes there.
Oh yeah. There will be. There's no doubts about that.
So, where do people reach out to you? Where are you on social media? I know you have a number of different sites.
Yeah, we're on Operation Tears of the 22 on Facebook, and on YouTube as well at the same name, Operation Tears of the 22. Our email is tearsof22@yahoo.com. We are working on getting a website up. We've been so busy with everything, we just haven't had the time. So we're going to be having that up there here probably next couple weeks, maybe sooner. Depends. But we do a video podcast every week, and basically it's me and Bubba. Well, we've also interviewed a lot of our musical talent. We have a guest speaker, Mr. Brian Goodwin. He's a veteran also. He's going to be speaking down there one night. What night is that, Bubba? Friday, I think?
Yeah. It's Friday at 6.
Okay. Yeah, Friday. And so they can reach out to us by any of those means. We will be doing Instagram and everything. But yeah, the podcast, me and Bubba, we talk, we joke, we laugh, we cut up, and it's us. It's unedited, unscripted. It's
a couple of old veterans, just absolutely raw and uncensored.
Okay.
It is.
And there's one, we did an episode where we actually interviewed my son, and one of his sergeants from Iraq. He got on, did a Zoom from Iraq, and if you really want to see the connection, the brotherhood, and stuff like that runs from generation to generation, that is an excellent episode to watch.
That would be.
Yes, it is. It's, if I remember right, it's called A Special Interview from Iraq.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's on YouTube at Operation Tears of the 22. Just do a search. We'll pop up. And you can watch all the other videos. And sometimes we get a little long-winded because we get wound up.
Nothing wrong with that. You got a good story to tell, and people want to hear it.
Now, we're also on iHeartRadio. Where's some of the others, Richard?
Deezer, Spotify,
Okay.
iHeartRadio, because we take our video podcast and make it an audio podcast as well.
Okay.
Just Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Overcast. I mean, search for us on
the podcast
on your favorite podcatcher.
Okay.
That's Bubba's favorite word now.
Yeah, it is.
Podcatcher. I like that.
He didn't know. Bubba didn't know anything about podcasts until we started this. And I said, dude, we've got a podcast about this. And he's like, what's that? I said, don't worry. I fix it.
Yeah, I had no idea what a podcast even was until we started this.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you can find us, search for us, Operation Tears of the 22. We try and keep everything simple, especially for our Marine brothers.
or the Navy guys, So.
Yeah, Navy guys too,
I knew there'd be a joke in there somewhere. Well, I've really enjoyed talking to you. If you could tell us again, when is the event in August so people can make some arrangements and reach out to you if they need me?
It's August 5th through the 8th this year at Birds Adventure Center.
And where's a good email for them to reach out to you if they have some questions? And
tearsof22@yahoo.com.
Excellent. Well,
if they want, they can message us directly on Facebook, or call me, message me directly.
Awesome. This has been great, Matt and Richard. I really appreciate you sharing this information about your organization. I love what you're doing, and I think it's going to grow like crazy because it's something that's really, really, really needed. We've been talking with Matt Gillespie and Richard Shelson of Operation Tears of the 22 here on TNCRadio.live. You're listening to the Truckers Network radio show. We've got the Evening Surge coming up after the top of the hour news. Definitely stay tuned for more coming up. Thank you for listening to another great interview on TNCRadio.live and the Truckers Network radio show. All of the material you hear on TNCRadio.live on our website, our broadcasts, or our podcasts are copyrighted. There can be no distribution without the express consent of TNCRadio.live and its partners. For inquiries, write us at info@tncradio.live. Radio.live. 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 Radio.live.